Hi again. I know many of you have been reaching out to me for months since last year, wanting to get me to do a video exclusively on pension. Many of you are work permit holders and ex-work permit holders who have left the island, and so I want to give you a brief synopsis of the information I have received directly from the pension office, which is a part of the labor and pension department with the Cayman Islands government. And first and foremost, I want to say that people, stop believing everything you hear on the street, on the road. Okay, the best thing for you to do if you have questions is to contact your pension provider. Say, for instance, you were a part of the Chamber of Commerce pension or Silver Thatch or whichever other pensions here on the island. They should give you all the information that you require of how and when you can receive your pension. Now, I know for sure because I've had the experience about a year ago going to a pension provider on behalf of a close friend of mine, and the entire information was not provided for this friend to pass on to their employer, and that's their job. The pension providers and their staffs, do not let them shortcut you. Do not let them cut you off with wanting to know information. They are the ones who are supposed to give you all the information. They can provide it in hard copy or tell you on the phone, or you can walk in and get the information. I want to say to pension providers, not everyone that you guys have as clients or come in contact with can understand everything you say in your terminology or your words. You have to be able to interact with clients and meet them at a place where they can understand. So you have to break things down for them sometimes, because some information that some people have shared with me, I can see why they can't understand that. Yes, there's times when they can get their pension back if they've left the island or are leaving the island, or they're not yet the age of retirement or whatever the case may be, or they can find a new pension provider wherever their home country is that they're going to, and that pension has to be approved by the Cayman Islands pension department here in order to get the pension transferred, potentially. Okay, so I'm going to get to that, but pension providers, you have to meet your clients where they understand, and many of them are not English speakers. Respectfully and without prejudice, many of the lower tiers of occupation employees are not able to read and write completely and adequately as one would probably expect, and that does not mean that they should not be treated equally. It means that the pension providers and their staff, you have to meet these people where they are. If they need interpreters, translators, if they need to bring someone in, you have to allow them to do that. All of these things fall into place so people can understand that they have rights, and these are the instructions and regulations and policies of the Cayman Islands. And so you people that are watching this video, stop listening to every other person that you hear say, I can't get my pension because I've been told I can't get it until I'm 65, right? Contact the Department of Pension or contact your provider. If your provider does not make you feel comfortable and quite satisfied that the information you've received is not accurate, or that don't make sense to me, then contact the Department of Labor and Pension. I will provide their information. Matter of fact, let me provide it now before I forget, and then I will go on to read the information that I have gotten. Labor and Pension. I should have pulled that up, shouldn't I? Pension. So you can also file complaints if you're not happy with against employers or pension companies. We have the You can file it with the departments. I don't want to get into telling you too much to overwhelm you with information, but here is the information. There, oh, that's something else. Let me make sure that I'm on the right page here. Oh yes, there's Jean Hydes, head of inspections. Deputy Director of Pensions, Miss Amy Wollaston. And we have Miss Linwood, who is the Deputy Director of Labor. Mr. Bernard Ebanks, who is actually the Director of both departments, right? Okay, let me find their contact information here. These are the people that are responsible for mandating that 875 minimum wage. Where is their contact? Here we go. Okay, so their address, everyone probably knows this, is 273 Elgin Avenue. It's right there close to Credit Union, where Bank of Butterfield is. It's right upstairs, Bank of Butterfield, on Elgin Avenue, in the vicinity of Cayman National, the Department of Education, Credit Union, and all those good places. Digicel used to be close by. And then Cayman Brac is 143 State Bay Road. We can't leave out the Brac, right? And so their hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., closed weekends and public holidays. Their email address is DLP Delta Lima Papa @gov.ky, and their telephone number is 945-8960. If you want to leave a confidential tip or complaint, 945-3073. Now I know there are a lot of you who are overseas and you can't call. I would really love to see our government implement some WhatsApp numbers for the same way you have 800 numbers. And I know that some of them are transitioning to 800 numbers, and the government, I understand, is working on that majorly. So for people who don't have credit, that they can call the 800 numbers for the government departments and get through. And so a WhatsApp number would be great too, because WhatsApp is very common in the Cayman Islands. In the US, they use a lot of texting. So most government, not government agencies, but private businesses have texting features that you can communicate with their businesses. And of course, they use email and telephone numbers and 800 numbers. But you know, the government can see any number that you call from. I'm not sure if they can see block numbers, but if push come to shove and they needed to find out who's calling, trust me, they can find out. They're the Cayman Islands government. So again, their number is 945-8960. Their email address is dlp@gov.ky. For those of you who have Wi-Fi, you can always email your questions and queries to dlp@gov.ky. And for confidential hotline, 945-3073, regular number 945-8960. They do a lot of great stuff out there. And I just want to emphasize for the public that Department of Labor and Pensions are not only for Caymanians. I'm a Caymanian, and I advocate for my Caymanians first. I can always say that, but I will also advocate for anyone that lives and resides here. And we have reside, when I say reside, and I use that word, I mean we have seasonal people that come here and reside here, and then we have people that live here. To me, that means people that are permanently living here for a long period of time. They're not just here for winter or holiday or something like that. So let me get back to the pension. And so I'm told reliably, right, that the employment would have to be terminated, no contributions for 2 years, and cease to be resident for 6 months. Okay? And okay, let me make sure I get that correct so I don't get it mixed up now. Okay, the act was changed to an over-financial retirement age. Okay, so in a nutshell, if you leave the island and you want your pension and you don't want it to stay here in the Cayman Islands, you find another pension plan. So if you're going to Jamaica or the Philippines or Honduras or Dominican Republic or can't remember some of the other countries that are here, Canada, wherever, my understanding is your pension can be transferred to another pension plan, but it has to be authorized by the deputy director, which is Mrs. Wollaston that I just noticed. Really nice lady. I've known her for a long time. But she has to approve a pension plan that you want to transfer your pension out of the Cayman Islands to. And she has to ascertain that there's a pension plan in that country which will have to conform, meaning that it has to be equal to and set up just the way that pension is set up here, and with the rules and regulations of the Cayman Islands as it relates to refunds, which would be at the retirement age. It does not mean that if it is transferred, access to it is automatic. So what it's saying, if you find a good pension plan in your country, wherever you're going back to, you have to contact the department and say, hey, I have this plan, this with this company. This is the information. Can you check if this meets the Cayman Islands standard and let me know? And then Ms. Wollaston or her designate someone that she has designated or given authority to act on her behalf, because senior persons do have that authority. She can make that decision after she's done all the background checks and so forth. But that doesn't mean because it's transferred to your plan in your other country that you can access that fund, because it's called retirement fund for a particular reason, to help you when you retire, unless there's, I don't know what the other laws would be in those other countries. Okay, and there is also criteria for a transfer. The employment must be terminated. No contributions for 2 years. So basically, you wouldn't be working anymore. You wouldn't have put anything in for 2 years, and you cease to be resident in the Cayman Islands for 2 years. And that is part of how you can get your pension. Many of you just want to take your pension and take it out and spend it and say, hey, I'm going back to my country. I want the money. I can use it how I choose because it's my pension. But the Cayman Islands government has set this up. It's the same in the United States. You can't just take out your 401k. That's what they call it in the U.S. It's called the 401k. And then you can do pension separate. But you can't just take it out how you want. You can take it out. There are exceptional circumstances for you to take it out in terms of access to a certain amount if you want to get a house, like we do here in the Cayman Islands. But for you who are leaving the islands and you're not a Caymanian, you're not a permanent resident, the laws are a bit different for you. And I don't think that that's unreasonable for you guys to expect, because at the end of the day, you should say, I came to the Cayman Islands, I worked, and the government had some laws and regulations in place that protected me and offered me the ability to save some money, because many of you are here and you're not able to save. You send just about most of what you have back to your country, to your families and whatever, and you save a little something there too. So the Cayman Islands government, by right and by law and by humanitarian and international standards, are expected to put these things in place to protect anyone who lives and works permanently or on a long-term basis in these islands. And so I have a little bit more information in terms of refunds which relate to what a person has in his or her account. If a person is leaving the island, regardless of if they are returning or not, if what is in their account is less than 5,000 CI, right? Most pension plans, the little tricky buggers, quote you in US, but we're referring to CI right now. If what is in your pension account is less than CI $5,000, that can be obtained if it's less than 5,000. All the transactions are done by the pension plan, whoever your provider is, and it does not have to come to this department for approval. So your pension plan, if you have less than 5,000 CI dollars, right? That can be refunded to you from what I'm reading here and understanding. The persons, however, has to be off island 3 months before it is remitted to them by what means they agreed to. So if you have less than $5,000 in your pension and you leave the island, you have to be off island for 3 months. You make the application before you go off island or while you're off island, and you have to prove that you're no longer on island for a 3-month or more period. And between you and the pension company, they agree how you get those funds. We can't tell you, I can't tell you how to tell them how to get your money. You have to talk to your pension provider. As it relates to mandatory pension withdrawal, those can be made for housing, but you have to be Caymanian. If you want some form of funds from your pension for buying a home or some sort of housing purpose, you have to be Caymanian for that. And I know there are Caymanians that go off island and they have homes here, or they want to return home and they want to purchase a home or whatever, and they have pensions. They can access that. And you can also access it for serious illnesses or disability or life expectancy, those things, some sort of medical long-term issue, or if you have some hardship, like your car broke down and there's no way you have there's a bunch of little different things that as a Caymanian you can go to the pension office and say, hey, I need to access some funds because this happened, my car broke down, I have no way of finding $1,500 or $2,000 to fix my car, replace this part, and you address that with your pension plan as a Caymanian, and if you need something to help you with housing. Otherwise, your pension plan is not available for you to nilly-willy, as my daughter liked to say, access that money. That money is for when you retire. That money is to help you so you don't be a burden on your government, whether here or overseas. And so that looks like it. I think that's pretty straightforward. But again, for you people who have left the island, if you have, or you're going to leave the island, if you have under 5,000 CI dollars, you can have that transferred to you. This is what I'm understanding here. But you have to be off island for 3 months or more. You will have to prove that you've been off island for that period of time. If it's anything over that, you have to find a pension plan. So if you have pension companies, like say for instance, if you chose Chamber in the Cayman Islands and you go over to Jamaica, you have to find a pension plan in Jamaica that is credible. It is monitored by the pensions authorities, whatever they're called in other countries, commissions, and you have to send that information to the Department of Pensions and say, hey, I found this plan, I have $6,500 there, I have $12,000 there, I've been off island for 2 years, I haven't contributed for 2 years, and I would like you to look at this plan and tell me if you can transfer my pension to this plan. And the department looks at that, the Deputy Director of Labor Pension looks at that and decide if that will be agreeable. So I hope you guys understand that. Now I just want to wrap this one up. It's 20 minutes, a little bit more than I wanted to go, but I wanted to be clear on everything that I had to say. And again, like, share, and follow these videos if you want to continue to see more. And also to be sure to review it anytime you have questions. Thank you.